Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum everyone. Myself Dr. Mamoona Azhar. By profession I am a physiotherapist and today I am going to deliver a lecture on the subject of medical physics. We studied a topic yesterday in which we studied electrolytic burn. So today's topic is about thermionic emission and also the practical examples of electrolysis. So what is basically thermionic emission? You guys might be clear about the electrolytic burn and you guys have completed the assignment which I gave you yesterday. So let me just clear you about thermionic emission. Thermionic emission is the process, basic process in which, for example, as you guys can see that right now I'm just having the apricot and meanwhile I'm just telling you what happens in thermionic emission. In thermionic emission, for example, there are some molecules. You set these molecules on fire. The downward, the fire is being provided to the molecules. What will happen to those molecules, to the atoms of those molecules, to those atoms having the electrons, protons and neutrons? Basically, what will happen there? Due to that fire, due to that energy being provided from the fire, the electrons will emit their surface. And what will happen when electron will emit their surface? Where they will go? They will make a cloud upward. Now the cloud upward will be formed. This process would be called as thermionic emission. And the very important thing to remember is that it is very important and it is very necessary for the practical use. It is being used in thermionic valve and there are very different purposes for which it is used. Now the next question is, the question leading after knowing that what is thermionic emission, the next question is where thermionic emission would be higher and where thermionic emission would be lower. So thermionic emission would be higher when the surface are curved. For example, there are two surfaces, one is flat, one is curved. What will actually happen in thermionic emission in both of them? Thermionic emission would be higher in the curved surface. Why it would be so? Because it is having the large surface area, and when there is a large surface area, it would become easier, it would become really easier to convey that, and energy can be transmitted and electrons can be very easily or readily be emitted from that surface and they can form a cloud very readily. Another thing is that the factor which is involved in thermionic emission is what makes it faster or slower, that is vacuum. For example, there is a vacuum. In that vacuum, there would be no pressure. So when there is zero pressure, it would be easier to perform thermionic emission. So thermionic emission would be really easier in vacuum because all the factors which are exerting pressure on the area would be decreased. So right now we are clear about thermionic emission. Now what we will do is we will learn about the practical examples of electrolysis. Meanwhile, let me just eat it. Practical examples of electrolysis. You guys might know about electroplating. Electroplating is the process in which electron plating is done. Seriously, do you guys feel like electron plating is done in electroplating? No, the basic process is there is one metal, a layer of another metal is being done over that surface. That metal would be considered as electroplating. It is just like you have your house being done and then you whitewash your house just to make it more beautiful, just to give it another layer from the protection. And there are also, you guys might know that there are some whitewashes, there are some paints which also protect from UV rays. So these are the variations, these are the techniques which are just creating variations in that. So according to this scenario, electroplating is the process in which one metal is being covered with another metal just to make it more attractive. And in the most of cases, gold plating, silver plating is being done. Now you guys might know that whenever you go to a jewelry shop, not gold jewelry, the other jewelry shop, some of the jewelries are really expensive. They are not actually gold, pure gold or pure silver. What they say that it is gold plated, it is silver plated, it is platinum plated. What does that mean? They have a cheaper metal, cheaper jewelry metal, and over that they are just covering it with gold, silver, just to make it look more attractive and just to increase its value and its worth. So in that scenario, electroplating is very important. Let me just tell you more about electroplating. In electroplating, the metal which is being electroplated, that would be cathode, and the electroplating on which is done, on the metal which is done, it would be considered as anode. So the electroplated would be cathode and electroplating will be anode. So this is how it will work. So this is the process through which it can work really easily. Now the second and very important example regarding this is regarding the example of practical uses of electrolysis, extraction of metals from ores. You guys might get to know that there are some mountains, there are some areas. The Balochistan is the area where we have so many ores. We have our reservoirs over there. It is being said that we do not have that machines which can extract those ores, but we have a lot of very important things underneath our hills, underneath the earth. So what actually happens, the extraction of metals from the ores is being done. And what are those metals which are really important in this are, these metals are aluminium, copper and zinc. These are really important in that perspective. Now the next important example is purification of metal. How purification of metal is being done. Purification of metal is also a very important process. Bister copper is being purified in the metals for the purification purpose. The purification just means that, for example, you have the milk mixed with some, you can say, sugar. So now the milk is not pure. You want to extract that sugar from the milk just to make it pure. So this is the way purification occurs. The metals are being made pure by the purification process, and it is also the practical example of electrolysis, and the bister copper is being purified in this process. Now the next process is anodizing. What is meant by anodizing? Anodizing is the process in which the metals are being layered to protect from corrosion. What is meant by corrosion? This is just like zang lag jana. You have a metal और उस पे you have the jewelry, you have any substance, you have the any metal substance, and it will have corrosion really fast. So just to prevent that corrosion, anodizing is being done. And how that anodizing helps? That anodizing really helps in that process in which aluminium with its oxides is being coated over the substances, over the metals, and that can help really fast in this process. So anodizing is also the very important practical use of this. Now the next and last but not the least, medical application. As we all are professionals, we being physiotherapists, what is the practical use of electrolysis and why we are studying that and why we are studying all these examples? Just to make you guys clear about all these things, that whenever you enter into practical life, in daily walk, either you go to jewelry shop, either you go to any place, you just get to know, you just keep getting to know about the things what is happening surround. And also the important thing about this is, in medical field, it is really important. The nerve stimulators we use, that is really important. The nerve stimulators are being produced through the process of electrolysis. And if you people and if we us are not clear about these things, we might not be able to handle all the equipments we use in daily life. So the practical examples are really important meanwhile, and also the process in which we learn thermionic emission. The thermionic emission is also important in the field, as we also have to do electrotherapy in our field of physiotherapy. So we should be really clear about all this. I hope you guys understood the lecture and you guys would be really clear about that. Uh, this lecture is the continuation of yesterday's lecture. It was basically yesterday's lecture, but it is just its continuation. As I told you guys yesterday in the text messages that my lecture was not being recorded fully because I was just recording in an empty room from the back camera, and I was not getting to know what was happening, and the recording just stopped at 13 to 14 minutes. So what I did today is I'm going to continue that lecture again, and I'm making that video again. If you guys have any query, any question regarding that, you guys can ask me. I'll tell you that directly. And another important thing I need to clear you, because the most of the people who are listening, who are the audience, are my students who are just learning medical physics from me, that a principal and chairman just told that we might not get extra time for studies, for revising or for the revision. So you guys, please, you should be really conscious about your study at this point, because if you will not be serious, you will keep jumping on the syllabus and the things would not be clear to you guys, and then what will happen? You will not have a good result. So let me just make you clear, please keep studying. If you have any query or any question regarding any subject, especially medical physics, just contact me. I'll make you guys clear. I'll try my level best to fulfill all of your queries and all of the questions you would ask me. Thank you so much.